It is time for the Major League breakdown. And look, I want to normally spend this segment just talking about, I'm not gonna say random, but just things that I've observed throughout Major League Baseball. Maybe sometimes they'll be Tigers related, maybe sometimes they won't be, but we are only one series technically for every team, one series into this 2026 season. And I already have extremely strong feelings about this ABS system. And that's where I want to start because we had a number of moments, one major one with Eugenio Suarez and CB Bucknor that went viral over the weekend. So I just, for people who need to get caught up, who've been living under a rock, this season, there is an automated balls and strikes challenge system, meaning that either the pitcher, the catcher, or the hitter can tap their head after a call and say, I'm challenging that call, right? And immediately, similar to what they do with the Hawkeye system in tennis, they check they show it on the big screen. Hey, that ball crossed the plate, or hey, that ball didn't cross the plate in time. And immediately you can overturn the call or not, right? And we saw a few instances in the Tigers game, the third game they played against San Diego, because of course you have a limited number of challenges in which they would have been right to challenge. McGonigal and Torque had 3-2 pitches that were off the plate that should have been ball four. Torque was in a situation where it would have loaded the bases. Forgive me, I can't remember exactly what McGonigal's situation is, but I think that there was at least one guy on at the time. No guarantee that the Tigers find a way to win that game, but it definitely would have made things a lot more interesting. This is my roundabout way of saying that I think that now we have, let's just be real, and I saw a tweet about it that made me laugh. We have the ability to shame umpires with this. Like the CB Bucknor one was embarrassing, right? With Eugenio Suarez. That's back-to-back pitches that got challenged, back-to-back pitches in which the umpire was wrong. I think that baseball has kind of always been the last horse to water with a lot of this new technology, whether it was replay, whether it was challenges, what have you, pace of play stuff that they changed several years back. I'm just going to go on record and say I think that this ABS system and the microscope that was already held pretty close to these umpires, which is now even tighter because of said ABS system, I don't think it's going to last. Not to say that it's going away. I think that within the next 5 years, there will be either an unlimited challenge system or a serious amendment to this system to ensure that these off-the-plate balls are no longer called strikes, because in that game, in that Tigers game, again, I'm not making excuses. It's not what cost him the game, but I would imagine both Torque and McGonigal, because those were in the early innings, felt to themselves, we're going to need these challenges for later. And the fact is, I don't think that should be the case. I think it should be very similar to the replay system in Major League Baseball, where you have a certain amount of challenges through 7 innings. Everything after the 7th inning or beyond becomes something that can automatically be challenged or automatically be reviewed. It can be umpire's discretion at that point, because the strike zone is more important than it's ever been. Players try to draw more walks. They try to see more pitches, and it is frustrating as hell. I'll speak for the players here rarely, but I know I'm telling the truth. To work a great count, get a pitch that's 6 inches below the strike zone, and you get punched out on it. We're 1 weekend into this, Austin, and I think that I think that how do I put this? The pedal has already been, we've already put the pedal on the metal. Cut this. Sorry. Let me reset here. God. But we are only 1 weekend into this, Austin, and we've already seen multiple instances of people pointing this stuff out, whether it's my team or other teams. This is something that's going to be talked about for the rest of the year, and while I like the ABS system a lot, I already see a universe in which people are clamoring for more, quite honestly, because what happens in the 3rd inning can be every bit as influential and impactful to a game as what happens in the 8th or 9th inning. And I think that's something that we're going to need to pay attention to.